everybody, what's going on? I'm Jamie Dawn, your professional psychic advisor, success coach, evolutionary, revolutionary astrologer, bringing you your celestial wisdom video for the week of February 21st through the 28th, 2021. And we do have quite a few things that are still working us. We're going to talk about Mercury, which is now direct, yay, but it's just waking up. So it's still getting the sleepies out of its eyes, you know? And then we also have this square with Saturn Uranus that happened on the 17th, so just a few days ago, that we're still probably dusting off a little bit, or maybe picking ourselves up and kind of looking around. I think of in tarot the Judgment card, where we're sort of being reborn and we're awakening, but there's some confusion because we're not the same people we once were, and the world looks very different. Our perspective may have changed quite a bit from the last week and even the last couple of months, right? Last couple of years. I can already hear some of you saying that. But I can agree. And we also have Venus. She is moving into Pisces on Thursday, where she is exalted. She loves being in Pisces. We're going to talk about that because the sun will also be sextiling Uranus at that time. And of course, we have our monthly full moon, and this one is in Virgo. So let's just dive right in. I, of course, want to talk about Mercury. Mercury being that personal planet where it organizes our thoughts. It helps us to understand information. It is of the mind, but it's also the information, it's the communication, and in the way in which we transport the information, maybe from the higher wisdom or higher realm, into our own intuitive nature, or we actually communicate using words or our body language. And so now that Mercury is direct, it's still in Aquarius, it is going to now be, it was revisiting some of the degrees that it had gone into in January. Well, now it's going to move forward. It's going to come across those degrees again. And so we're looking at the 11th degree all the way to the end, to the 29th degree, when then Mercury will move into Pisces in March. So we continue to have this higher wisdom, these ideals, we're probably looking at our standards of excellence, because here we have Mercury in the sign of Aquarius, which wants to communicate these higher ideals. And it does have this sense of, let's raise the bar, because Aquarius is ruled by Saturn traditionally. And of course, now modern is Uranus. So we are I'm focusing more on the Saturn aspect, simply because we have so much Saturnian energy and influence right now, that we're looking to master the mind. We're looking to master certain themes and situations that we revisited or we researched or reevaluated. Maybe we had some really important conversations over the last couple of weeks that haven't come into manifestation yet, which is fine, but we're ready to start moving forward. And with Mercury and Aquarius, we're still probably questioning a lot of things, maybe doing the open-minded skeptic, as I like to call myself. And we're, hopefully still being objective in the way that we communicate and integrating a lot of the information that we've received and that may have surfaced over the last few weeks. I think in particularly that what we're going to be looking at is there's been some information that has come to light that in a collective way that we're still trying to integrate or make sense of. It's like we've been forced to surrender and accept the things that we can't control. And when this information shows up, it's like, what do I want to do with it? This is where that full moon in Virgo is going to help, because Virgo loves to separate that wheat from the chaff, or what is useful and what is not useful. So we're going to be feeling this energy already at the beginning of the week as it builds into the full moon on Friday to be released. Now, also, like I mentioned, we're coming off this exact square with Saturn and Uranus. So we're still feeling the tension points, but this also could have been a really powerful time where we've been tolerating the status quo. We've been, complacent and going with just, whatever shows up. And maybe not even thinking through it. And here comes Uranus going, hello, suddenly here's information, or here's an opportunity, or here's something that will kind of shake this up and break you free. I say you collectively, myself as well, break you free from limiting behaviors, limiting thought forms, limiting resources, things like that. And in doing so, when we're shaken up like that, and then we have to sort of settle. I think of a snow globe because I love snow globes, and I love to shake them and see all the snow, going around, and then it just sort of settles on the ground, so to speak. And that's what we're doing, is that we're being shaken up in the snow globe, and then we just have to let the dust settle or let the snow settle. And it just takes some time. And that's where Saturn comes in, that whatever new insight may have shown up that helps you break through the barriers and set these long-range mission and goals in place. Keep in mind, Saturn rules time, and it likes to take its time. That's how we work with mastery. And so we have to shake some things up, come back to our foundation, and rebuild from there. And what we're doing also, keep in mind that we can't be tested, or we can't have integrity without testing. Those engineers out there, this, that you can design something, but without testing it, you don't know the integrity of the structure or whatever it was that you're building. And so think of it this way: the universe is here to conspire with us, to test us, so that we can keep coming back to say, yeah, that works, or no, it doesn't. Note Virgo full moon. Now, one other thing that may have come up for us over the last week or so, there may be group situations where we see individual expressions come out, and that shakes us up because we either agree or disagree. If we agree, we're like, yay, let's move forward because this is something for everybody. If we disagree, then there could be a lot of tension. But remember, healthy conflict is good because it can help us set the stage for a new normal, and it can build trust within the group. If you don't have this healthy conflict, then you're not going to be able to make sure you're on the same page, and you may not trust that what everybody is working towards is the same, because you don't have everybody's buy-in. And that's what you need when you're working in a team concept, is you need everybody's buy-in when you're working towards the ultimate goal. Otherwise, they're just going to go along with it. And if it doesn't work, they're going to say, I didn't have anything to do with it. That's not my problem, right? But if everybody has a say and everybody has a buy-in, and there's an emotional bond that is formed with the idea or with the goal that you set, and this could be even just for yourself, then you're not really going to stop at anything to make this happen. And you start to take ownership and you start to take responsibility. Does that sound familiar? Because we worked with that in 2020 a lot, about ownership and responsibility. So here it is, coming back, and it's being revisited, but in a different way, because we're working on it. Last year, it was more individual. This year, it's much more focused on the collective, or on the group, or on the pod, if you will, focus. So let's talk about Venus as she moves into Pisces on Thursday, and the sun will be sextiling Uranus. So I think of Venus in Pisces like the princess or the mermaid or the movie star. Venus loves being in Pisces. And so she just puts on all of her beautiful garb and dresses up, and like when she walks the red carpet, heads turn, and there's this amazing, almost enchantment that happens. There's an opportunity for us when Venus is in Pisces where we could get caught up in a romantic relationship, become easily seduced, maybe even willing, putting on our rose-colored glasses, going, I don't really care if this person isn't who they say they are, or if they seem too good to be true. I just want the experience. Think of it like going to the movies, right? I just want to be entertained. I don't really care if it's true or not. So we may have some of that. We can also feel a little bit more inclined to be devoted to someone or something because we want to be of great service. And this Piscean influence with Venus here allows us to be able to connect with others, to create this beautiful imaginal realm, if you will, whether it's in our minds or in our world. And then we can use it as a way of saying, hey, who wants to come and join me? And how can I be of service here with what what I've created, I think of the artist. And if you enjoy going like to a museum, or you just walk around town, you see some of these beautiful, here in Reno, you can see some beautiful structures, sculptures, and you can just get lost in them. And that's kind of what we're going to be experiencing. And I think we all need this right now, because it's been a little mind heavy, right? Our mental faculties have been overtaxed over the last couple of weeks. And so with Venus here in Pisces, we get a chance to appreciate art and beauty. And this could be very literal as well in our relationships, where we start to appreciate even the shadow or the not so great side. We can kind of dismiss it, and we can find it, that goofy side of somebody, we find it fun, and we find it attractive even. It may be that with Venus and Pisces here, many of us will color our hair. I'll be excited to see how many people decide they go, I want the pink, blue, and green now, or, doing something a little bit more artful with the styles that I wear, the hair, or maybe the food I eat, that sort of thing. One thing to keep in mind, Venus in Pisces very often has a tendency to be challenged with commitment in the emotional sense. So some of you are going to be driven crazy by your admired person, or the one you're admiring, because you want the emotional connection from them, or commitment, or that verbal kind of thing, and they're not ready to give it. Or you're not ready to give it because you just want to bask in their love. And so be gentle with yourself in the next couple of weeks as Venus navigates through Pisces, because this is really where we get a little bit more lightheartedness in our relationships, and that sometimes we just enjoy the feeling of love and maybe not make too much more of that. We will want to also feel as though we have unlimited possibilities in love, or financial opportunities, or how we charm our way through life. And so this is a time where unlimited possibilities start to drop in. We should feel more positive and attract more positive situations that give us the lens or the view of unlimited possible outcomes, right? So if you're looking for a solution in your relationship, or your finances, or your health, or whatever area of life is being challenged right now, Venus in Pisces can allow you to look at it and go, well, I haven't thought of this possibility. Maybe there's another one. It's a great brainstorming kind of energy. And what you'll find is your charm gets really active, that you might just get what you want. And as I joke, be careful what you wish for, because you might get it. Then what are you going to do with it? And with Venus and Pisces, what you do with it, you enjoy the hell out of it. You paint a pretty picture. You enjoy whatever your body is wanting, whatever your mind is wanting. And you also may have to be careful that you lose a sense of boundaries with Venus and Pisces here. So be very careful. There's that shadow side that you want to make sure you recheck those boundaries. Now, and as I mentioned before, Saturn squaring off with Uranus, we're still feeling it. There's still going to be that tension with boundaries. So that can be a real support system for us. However, the sun in Pisces as well, sextiling Uranus, is only going to make it a little bit easier for us to go, anything goes here. I'm happy with whatever, right? So don't be surprised if a new lover shows up, or if you're in a bonded relationship that your partner suddenly wants to do some sort of role playing in the bedroom, if you're not already, or, take you away for some romantic weekend. Maybe you planned for it, maybe you didn't, or they may say, hey, I just bought this new convertible and I want to take us out on a long drive and just get out of town, kind of thing. Whatever. It's one of those things where it's like, we probably couldn't have afforded that. That's the boundary. And you just kind of throw caution to the wind, right? So do pay attention to that. Try not to yuck somebody's yum too much, just because we really do need a little bit of lightheartedness. We also don't want to lose sight of the bigger picture. I'll leave that up to you, however you work that out. finally, finishing up our week and moving into the weekend, we have a full moon in Virgo on Friday. So we're going to get a jump start on our spring cleaning, because Virgo, as I mentioned, loves to separate what's useful, what's not. So we're already, I hear so many people, as a matter of fact, here in Reno, they one of the donation places said, please don't donate any more stuff. We can't handle it. We're in overflow, which is great because we're being so wonderful at donating, but enough is enough. Well, I would imagine that this full moon, if it doesn't have us physically cleaning out our closets or our homes or whatever, it'll have us clearing the mind. It'll have us clearing the soul, maybe even clearing relationships because it's not useful anymore, or you change the form in which that relationship operates. So we're going to be kind of starting to feel that shaking off of the winter blues for those of you who are in the northern hemisphere and experiencing winter. In the southern hemisphere, you're sort of shaking off the hot summer nights, if you will, and ready to move into fall. So either way, there's a feeling that change is here. It's coming. We have the spring equinox on the 20th of March. So we still have another month of activity where there's a little bit more of letting things just keep gestating, not pushing too much. However, with Mercury direct, I can feel everybody chomping at the bit to sign those housing papers or loan papers, or sign the business contracts or partnership agreements, gathering new clients or starting a new business, whatever. I'm just throwing some ideas out there that you may be playing with. This is a great week to do it. And a full moon is perfectly fine to add something new because you're clearing out space for it. Now, the other thing that we're going to have to pay attention to at this full moon is that we could struggle with the need to get everything just right. Virgo wants to be very precise, and it's got this real attention to detail. And so that can shake our confidence if we're not careful, because we're like, well, it's not perfect yet. Remember what I was reminding us of last year around the Lionsgate portal, that this isn't about perfection now. We aren't here to get perfect. We're here to strive for excellence. So when you're being discriminating about a person, a relationship, a money decision, what's working in my desk here? Is it, it's funny because you can see it's fairly clean back here, but in front of me, I've got all kinds of stuff piled up. I'll be going through that and organizing it. So that's another thing that we're going to be looking at is organization. But there has to come a point where we just step back and go, all right, it's good enough and I've given my best. This also, this full moon also can have us seeking ways to be more service oriented and more ways that we can show our love and devotion to the things that we are devoted to. And so I would imagine that we may reach a hand across the aisle. We may, I'm going to say hug because I miss hugging people, that we may just want to hug somebody so that we can say, I'm right here with you. How may I serve? And it's not servitude. It's not like we're, slaves to something or someone. It's really genuinely devotion through this place of the heart. And it's like, how can I be more devoted maybe to my daily routine? How can I be more devoted to my health? How can I be more devoted to my spouse or my children, or what the community is asking of me, or my job? So all of those things are going to be popping up. I will also offer, yes, with Virgo Pisces energy, it has often a way of easily stirring up fault finding. So please be gentle and gracious with each other, that if there is something that is triggering us, that we can at least give a little space and grace, believe people when they say something, and when we give feedback, be gentle. If you can't agree, at least be kind. And I have a feeling this full moon should emphasize more kindness, because Pisces and Virgo are very kind and gentle signs. And that doesn't mean they're not fierce. Let me just say that. There's always that element of action that can be taken. The other thing I'll just leave you guys with this week is that with this Pisces emphasis, as well as the Virgo full moon, we should be feeling more faith in the future. There should be more future-oriented ideas and confidence, and that our faith can return, that there is hope, there is love, there is higher wisdom, and that when we integrate it, then we can truly, truly live our best lives. All right, you guys, I hope this video helps. Like, subscribe, comment, share. I can't wait to hear from you. Find me at jamiedawn.com. Have such a great week.